and welcome to the Scratticus Academy. We are back with some more Pulp Cthulhu. So I'm going to run through a few things first, and then we will jump into the spooks. So first of all, please check out the links coming up in chat. We have our own Discord channel for this game. So if you'd like to head over there, let us know what you think, or maybe what your theories are, or what spooks you like. Also retweet the tweet, because that makes more spooky stuff happen, because I've created a spooky list just for Sammy. And also, if you would like to get in a game, please drop Scrat a DM on Twitter. I promise, Sammy, it's not just for you. Also, if you have missed out on anything, you can catch up on the playlist on YouTube. Otherwise, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Hero Forge. You've probably seen some of our characters whilst waiting for the show to start. They're releasing a Kickstarter next week, which looks amazing. I'm not going to say too much because I know they're officially going to launch it, but it's incredible, and it's to do with colored minis. It looks amazing. Also, a thank you to Mage Hand Press. You can check out all of their wonderful D&D 5e expansions, including Dark Matter, which is now available in full hardback, which is also a wonderful book. Also, the Deck of Many, with the Deck of Many Things, the moving magic spell cards, which are really snazzy. And they also created Humblewood, which is the opposite of this game and incredibly wholesome. So please go and have a look at that as well. Otherwise, we are going to go around and say hi to everyone, say who you're playing and where we can find you. So let's start with the lovely Lauren, or that salty ginger. Oh, hi.
I love going first. Hello, I'm Lauren. I'm not Salty Ginger. Over on Twitter, I'm part of the team over at Tales from the Grim and half of Salty Sweet Games with my best friend, Kiana. And I'm playing Meg Hawks, who is a psychiatrist and totally not a psychic. Nailed it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Then we're going to hop down and say hi to the lovely Captain Fake Eye. Oh, hi.
Oh, hello. How are you? Hi, everybody. I'm Faye, and I will be playing Jane Crowley, who is, I think, still freaking out about going back to the hospital after the last time that she was there. Yes. Other things. Oh, yes, you can find me on Twitter at Captain Fake Eye.
Wonderful. Thank you. Then we're going to hop over and say hello to the very lovely A. Kelly Lane. Oh, hi.
Hi, I'm Kelly, A. Kelly Lane on Twitter, A. Kelly in chat, and I do stuff on the internet. You can find me on Twitter to get my full schedule, but most importantly, I am here right now, every Thursday. I am also here on Scratticus Academy on Monday nights at 10:30 p.m. EST for Tact and Diplomacy, where Scrat controls our characters' emotions, and nothing can ever possibly go wrong with that. So, it's great fun, both games. You should check them out if you're in the right headspace for them. I also do stuff on DM's Guild, and you can find all of that on Twitter.
Wonderful, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Sammy.
Oh, hi. I'm Sammy. Smallish Sam. I play Dewey. That's all.
Favorite intro every single time. Okay. So, we are back in 1940, just before the bombs fell. Down in the tube, Jane, your dress is starting to get a little bit grubby. It's one of your favorites. Your shoes are no longer sort of very clean and shiny. You can see where they're scuffed. And you were standing there with your friends for a moment. And there was a moment where you were distracted. You were past a box. You were told to move a box. Everyone down here seems to be doing something. People are being past things and moving. And you remember hearing your friends sort of have a conversation about something. And then it's like in a blink of an eye, you look around and they're gone. And you're stood on this train platform on your own. You can see the little old lady sorting through all of the books. You can see a couple of men in soldiers' uniform and some women coming down and starting to load supplies. But you are effectively in this underground on your own.
I'm going to look around And I'm going to kind of go up to the nearest adult, whoever that is.
Yeah, you can do that. You recognize George. He's an older gentleman. He runs the fruit and veg shop. Maybe 4 or 5 streets down from you. You can see him bringing in what it is, whatever it is he has. You can see there's not much going around at the moment. You can see him bringing in some bread. It looks a bit sparse, but he's got a very warm, smiley face. He's got a very striped, very homemade knitted waistcoat on with sort of tortoiseshell color shell buttons that are done up all the way down. He's got a little bit of a stomach on him, but otherwise his arms and legs are particularly wiry. This sort of graying salt and pepper hair, sort of combed over to one side, and the rosy cheeks and the sort of smile lines. And he looks to her. He's like, "Oh, hello, Jane. What are you doing down here?"
George, have you seen my friends?
No, I haven't. I've been take this a moment. And it just sort of passes you a box, which does, like, you can see you almost have that, oh god, like, because you know it's going to get on your dress, as you can see some like root vegetables in there. And he's like, do you want me to help you have a look?
Yes. I was here with Dewey and Meg and oh gosh. I've forgotten Kelly's character's name.
This is not changed. Hang on. Fran and Jason. You were Fran and
Fran and Jason.
That friend.
That friend.
And he's like, right. Okay. I mean, I did hear a dog barking at one point. I know what they have a dog.
Yes, they have a dog, Rex.
Rex. Right. That's name for a dog. Good. And you see him sort of look up. He's like, well, tell you what, let's go check upstairs first and have a look around. And he sort of is like, can you bring that box with you? And he starts heading up.
All right. I think Jane is very much waddling with this giant box in her like 7-year-old
It's big.
arms.
It's kind of like an oversized box. You're actually very much stretching to get there. And he starts piling, he's got these empty crates, but piled up as he drops them. As you reach the top of the steps, you can see the tile things as very much as the way you went down. These brand new, freshly painted sort of banisters on the way down, these metal bar ones, and puts them down at the side, leans over to you, is like, thank you, dearly, and pops it down. And you stand at the entrance of the underground. And he sort of has a bit of a scan. And he looks as if he's about to say something very like warm and friendly when you hear a very familiar voice. You hear your mother. There's that, Jane! Like, it sort of like comes running towards you. And it's like, and did you not check the time? And you can see it started to get dark.
Well, I was here with my friends and they said that this was the safest place to be. So I came down here. And she's very much like...
You're trying to wipe off. And your mum is dressed. But considering everything that's going on, your mother doesn't have many clothes, but you know how tidy she keeps them. Everything is still looked after very well. And she sort of kneels down so she's at your level and puts her hands around your shoulders. It's like, it doesn't matter when it starts to get dark. You come home.
Yes, mother.
Now come on. And she sort of holds out her hand.
I take her hand.
Right. Let's go. Thank you, George. You just see him give like a wave as he disappears and back
Bye,
down to get more
George.
crates. It's like, goodbye, little Jane, as he sort of like gives you a little bit of a wave and heads back down. And your mum walks in silence with you a little bit. You can feel her grip quite tight on you, and you know it's not out of anger. It's probably out of panic and worry more than anything. You can see her fairly rough sort of green cardigan buttoned all the way up. And as much as she looks after her clothes, you can tell you're probably wearing the nicest things in this family at the moment. Some of hers looks a bit worn at the edges. And you're walking home for a moment, and it is getting darker and darker. You can see a lot of the lamps in the street. There is a man walking past and extinguishing each and every one. As he walks down, you walk towards your home, you turn down your street. When you round the corner, you see the devastation of some buildings that have just been hit. Some people are sort of still rifling through them, even though it's getting dark. They've got a lamp out themselves, as they seem to be looking for personal belongings and things like that, until you hear someone go, "Shut that light out," as it gets a little bit too dark and it is extinguished. And you start to round the corner, and up above you there's a sound, a sort of a of propellers, almost very far in the distance. You have to really listen to it to hear it. And your mother stops dead and looks up into the sky. Jane, do you hear that?
Yes.
Right. Okay, quicker now.
What's that?
It's nothing. We need to go now. Just come on, just quickly. It doesn't matter about scuffing your shoes. If you need to take them off, say that. We need to go now. And you remember the shelter in the back garden? As soon as we get in there, you're going to go straight in there, okay?
All right.
Okay. And you hear a few shouts, and you can really hear your mother breathing hurriedly, almost dragging you now down these streets. You almost trip over a couple of times, and when you do, you feel her other hand go underneath your arm and start pulling you along. As she throws the front, she sort of fumbles for the keys and then throws the front door open. She's like, "Out the back now, go out the back."
I will kind of jog in that direction, or like little kid run.
Yeah, you do the little kid run down the corridor. You go past that hideous wallpaper. You head straight through the kitchen and out the back door. And almost very freshly dug is this effectively hole in the ground, very deep, with these tin and metal sort of casing, almost like a hut and a hidey hole. And you can hear your mum shouting in the house, and you hear more of those propellers that and then there is a whistle, sort of a, and it's silent for a moment, and suddenly somewhere in the distance you see a flash as a bomb drops on London, and you hear this almighty sort of bang. It's not too close to you just yet, but you start to hear more and more, and you hear the panic set out as you run down into the shelter. It's very muddy. It was raining the day before. You almost sort of slip on the way down. But you head down into this bomb shelter. It is cold, it is wet, it is damp, and you can hear these propellers coming closer and closer, these bombs dropping. You start to feel the earth itself shaking as it goes. And there seems to be gunfire from somewhere as these more and more explosions take apart. You can hear buildings, what sounds like the shatter of glass. And your mum isn't in the shelter with you yet. You haven't seen your father either.
Am I able to peek out of the shelter at all?
Oh yeah,
Like,
you're
how
able
is
to
the
peek out the shelter.
how is the top of the shelter? Like, can I peek out?
You'd have to go up to the door, otherwise everything is completely domed. You go to the door and you have about this much between you and the ground. It is literally, you go underground as you do it.
Yeah.
You can see like there's some tins and things like that in the shelves that your dad has made. and they're starting to shake.
I'm going to kind of run up and try and peek out and see if I can see if my parents are kind of on their way.
Yeah, you can, as you do, you see your mum running in with blankets. She's like, Jane, get inside. But you can't quite see your dad. You can see him up at the top window of the house. He seems to be grabbing some things. And your mother is in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think Jane just does what a 7-year-old would do and just starts crying, just bawling, huge tears.
As you start to cry, you realize it's not just out of fear that your eyes are stinging, because as you sort of turn and look, some of the houses behind you are ablaze, and the smoke itself is stinging your eyes. And you have grown up on this street, I'd say your whole life, these whole 7 years, and you know people that live in these houses, and you're not seeing anyone running out of them. As these roofs fall, these buildings fall, it is dark. The only light coming from London now are these flashes in the sky, almost like balls of light, and these fires that start to surround your home. It looks like your street has just about been missed, and then there is a which is really loud, too loud, and it crashes down as you see this dark shape appear out of the sky and crash, and you almost have to cover your ears as this explosion hits. And you see this huge, like, it's not brick, it's almost like a flagstone, this huge thing come crashing through the roof of your house, darting sort of forward as your mum is running into the garden, screaming at you to get back into the bomb shelter.
I run back down into the bomb shelter and kind of sit down in like the corner of the bomb shelter and kind of bring my knees up, put my head down, and just keep crying.
Your mum sort of hurries down. You can see how muddy her shoes are. She's pulled on like some welly boots and is sort of like hurrying down, pushing herself under, and she's like, okay, and throws this blanket around your shoulders and pulls it up over your head and sort of holds almost like your ears either side. She's like, as long as you stay in here, you're absolutely fine, okay?
Mum, where's Dad?
He's just coming. He is just coming, okay? He's just coming. Okay?
Okay.
And I want you to get under here, and you can see that there's like benches built in along the side. She's like, I want you to get right under the bench as well.
And so I'll crawl kind of with my blanket awkwardly underneath the benches.
Yeah, she's like, okay. And then she starts to put a couple more blankets almost just over you, almost creating a very dark but warm, almost like hidey hole. And she's just like, I'm gonna go and find Dad.
Okay, but don't leave me here too long.
I won't. Okay, sweet. I'll be back in just a minute. And you feel this almost eruption to the side of you, and as the ground itself shudders, you see a couple of the cans fall off of the wall as this bomb strikes the ground, and you're pretty sure it's very, very close, maybe even in next door's garden. As you hear this, at one point you think it's rain, and then there's heavy clumps that seem to hit the roof of this bomb shelter of what sounds to be earth. And she's like, I'll be right back. You do not move. And she sort of like pushes the hair off of the top of your forehead. She's like, okay. And she runs.
And I think as much as Jane is like a good child, I think she sits there for probably 2 minutes, which feels like 3 hours in 7-year-old time, before she kind of takes one blanket that's wrapped around her and like waddles her way back up to the top to see if she can see where her mom and dad are.
In those 2 minutes, you hear a lot of crashing, banging, explosions. You can hear some gunshots, which isn't as usual. But your mum and dad don't come back in that time. And it is only 2 minutes, but everything is supposed to be fast at this point. And you sort of poke your head out of this small gap. You don't have to leave the bomb shelter, but you can look out and you see upturned earth, huge craters sort of to the side of where your neighbor's house is. There's bits that you can see your own home. There's bits that you can see the tiles have fallen off. There's where this debris came through, it took off the chimney, and the chimney now lays in the back garden. And wedged in the back garden, not too far from you, there is an unexploded bomb, which has wedged itself in the earth. It is smoking, but it doesn't look to be has gone off.
Ooh.
And you don't see your mum or your dad. You don't hear them. You can't see them in the house.
I think she probably kind of waits there looking for another 2 or 3 minutes. And again, that feels like eternity in 7-year-old time. Before I think she very much kind of tentatively just kind of calls out, "Mum? Dad?"
And there's a moment of silence, almost too long. You don't hear any more bombs drop, you don't hear any explosions, and it's literally minutes. When, almost bursting into your vision, you see your dad come tearing towards you as he's seeing what this is in the garden. He's like, it's just like, "Jane, come here, now, and he sort of reaches his hands out to you, even though you're in this bomb shelter.
Mum said stay here.
"I don't care what Mum says, look." And then she's like, "We need to get away from this now." And you can see him looking back and forth at this bomb.
Yeah, I don't think Jane understands what this bomb is, but she's like, "Well, all right," and kind of very slowly pushes up the top of the bomb shelter, still with the blanket, and kind of very tentatively steps out and steps towards her dad.
He rushes towards you before you can even get anywhere close to this thing, and you feel yourself scooped up very, very quickly, and he starts running with you. And he runs straight back down the cobble path through the house, and you can see like the ornaments, the picture frames, everything seems to have fallen off the wall. You can see glass smashed on the floor, especially in the corridor. And it's only then you also notice your dad seems to have just this trickle of blood coming from his hairline, and his hands look very sort of dusty, and there's dust in his hair on his shoulders, and he sort of keeps you pressed very close against him, and you can hear him yelling for your mum.
Are we still in the house?
You're still in the house. He's in the corridor. He's sort of wedged you both up against one of the door frames as you hear another explosion go off.
Dad, you're bleeding.
Yeah, no, I know, sweetie. It's all right. We're just gonna get Mum, and then we're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna go back to the underground. I don't know why she took you out of there.
I was there with Meg and Dewey, and she said I was out too late.
And you can tell he's not actually listening to you that much, but he's got like a hand on the back of your head, almost trying to keep you looking down so you don't look at him. And you can hear your mother's voice yelling from outside. And he throws open the front door, and you can see her, again, very much like him, covered in dust. You can see a burn mark on where her cardigan is, and she sort of holds her arm to her very, very closely. And you can see, probably for the first time in your life, fear on your mother's face as her eyes are very, very watery, and she sort of reaches out for the both of you as you come, and he runs towards her, scoops her around with his other arm and starts moving you very quickly through this. And could you make a spot hidden check, please?
Sure. Let's see. I haven't been very good with this. All right.
Okay. He tries to keep your head down as much as possible, and you don't see anything because you can tell he doesn't want you to see anything. And you can, if anything, you smell burning. You smell fire. You smell... It's like your lungs feel very full of just dirt and dust, and you can feel like a breeze which just feels like full of debris as you're being carried down the street. Everything is chaos. There is yelling, there is shouting. It's almost very, very deafening. Every time you hear another bomb go off, you hear an explosion, and you and your mother and father end up ducking as you feel like yourself get covered, and keeps running as you head towards the London Underground. You can see the open. Your dad sort of sits you up a bit more so you can look. And as he starts moving down the street, you see those crates that George had sort of smashed across the entrance. And a hand in a home knitted jumper lays there under the debris as your father pushes your head down again and you duck into the underground. We're gonna hop over to Meg. And Meg, your ears are ringing. You hurt, you feel hot. It's almost like you feel like you're burning up. And there's this bizarre feeling as if you're like underwater where everything is foggy. Everything seems to be not making sense. Everything is disorientated. You can hear your dad yelling your name, sort of shaking you a little bit. You feel that sort of that clump as you go, as you're carried downstairs. You have that where your eyes sort of peel apart, that very fuzzy vision of white tiles and the underground sign. And there seems to be chaos down here. People are screaming. There are people rushing past you. You feel like you're being carried fairly delicately. You can see Fran and Dewey up ahead. Dewey sort of carrying Fran as she's as they're both heading deeper and deeper into the underground. You can talk. You feel like you can talk. You just can't necessarily focus on too much. You definitely feel a wetness down the side of your face, and you can see that your top is completely shredded and there's more of this blood sort of leaking over you.
Dad?
And you say it a few times before you feel yourself being sat down against very cold tiles propped up. It looks against books, and he's just like, Meg, can you hear me? And you hear him looking back, like you can hear that little old lady's voice. It's like, is she okay? And it's like, I don't know, she can't focus right, as he's sort of moving your head from side to side. Meg!
Dad.
Oh, thank God. And he sort of quickly pulls you in, and it's almost suffocating because he just hugs you
Too tight.
so tightly.
Too tight.
Too tight. Yeah, no, okay. And he's right, okay, I need to have a look at this. And he starts like lifting up your arm, he's looking at your head, and it stings. It really, really stings.
I don't want to be down here.
I know, sweetie, but there's not a choice here with that. And you sort of hear overhead these huge bombs dropping, and down the people have moved out of the way of the entrance of the underground, as you just see debris come flooding down, crashing onto the tracks. And it's like the whole place starts to shake and shudder.
I want to go back up.
Yeah, we're not going back up.
I want to go home.
What were you doing? What were you doing up there anyway? I told you not to go up there.
Came to get you.
Yeah, no. We told you. We
I came to get you. I knew they were coming.
What do you mean you knew they were coming, sweetie?
I knew they were coming.
Who were coming?
The planes.
How did you know they were coming? Did you see them? Did you hear them? Right. Okay. I think she has a concussion. As he sort of like looks over to this old lady, which you can feel is like pushing like what feels like a handkerchief against your head, trying to stop this blood that is sort of slowly smearing down the side of your face.
Where's Rex?
Rex is Rex, and you can sort of hear somewhere echoing down the tunnel as this dog comes barking, popping up onto the platform and immediately on your lap, and is like looking all over your face. It's like, see, okay, Rex is fine.
We should go up.
No, we're gonna both gonna stay down here, okay? You and your friends, look, and you sort of you can see what is Dewey and what are Dewey and Fran doing right now as you're now in the underground.
I think Dewey's checking on Fran to make sure she's okay.
Because Fran hurt her leg last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she's just like sitting down somewhere looking at it. Almost confused. Cause I think she just like twisted her ankle or something, and she just kind of like doesn't understand why it hurts, even though it's not like broken.
I mean, you can hear that ringing in your ears considering how close you were to the blast. If anything, the sensation of this, the pain of this, it's sort of like your ankle and up your shin slightly. It's almost like it feels like it's vibrating with pain, like a shock has gone up it.
That hurts.
Oh, it.
That hurts.
Okay. I think Dewey's gonna rip up some of his shirt, having had injuries before. He knows to he's gonna try as best as like an 8 3/4-year-old can to wrap her ankle.
You can roll a medicine, please, or a first aid, whichever you would prefer.
Oh, okay. I'm so good at both of those. Where's medicine? Oh, I'm too blind for this. Oh, I'm very good at this.
Hey, you joined the Scouts. You know, they taught you like the first. You realize that Fran's foot is just not out of place, but needs to be supported. And you can see what you learned from Scouts is that you find like this small piece of wood, and you start to tie your shirt around using it almost like a set. This hurts. This really, really hurts, but you do manage to do it.
Ow.
It'll be all better now, I promise.
I don't like any of this.
I know.
We were supposed to be spies.
Well, sometimes spies get hurt.
That's stupid.
But, okay.
Getting hurt sucks. Why do you do it all the time?
I don't do it on purpose. You know, my mommy always told me something that'll make all the hurt go away. And he goes and he like kisses her ankle a little bit, and then turns bright red.
don't think that did anything.
It'll work, trust me.
Okay.
And is chaos around you? You've got people not stepping over you, but very, very close to you as they're sort of running down. You can see other families sort of hurrying down these steps, everyone tucking away. They start pushing almost like these barriers towards the entrance of the underground, not to block it, but to create like two channels. So if anything does come down, it's just going to be directed straight onto the track. And Jason is sort of immediately comes to a skidding halt by you, Fran, and Dewey. It's just like, Fran, are you all right? What happened? I saw you get hit.
Oh, I think Meg is the one that really got hurt. I don't know. My leg hurts, and Dewey did this thing, and then he kissed it and said it would make it better.
He sort of shoots you a glare for a moment, Dewey. And he's like, it looks like he's going to say something. So I said, where's Meg? What happened to Meg?
Oh no, there was a big boom and another big boom and another big boom, and then things were on fire, and then a building exploded onto Meg, but her dad got her.
Okay, I'm gonna go look for her.
Okay, I mean, they're down here somewhere.
And again, as I said, there's all of this talking. It's very loud down here. And Meg, you see Jason come running around the corner. He himself looks just like almost like half and half covered in just like this thick black dirt and dust, where in the explosion you could just see this debris all over him, and he comes sort of skidding down to his knees. He's like, oh my god, Meg, what happened? Meg?
Dad, Jason's a dick.
This isn't the time, Meg. Like, as he sort of looks down at you, and your dad is sort of looking at you slightly confused, more sort of looking down at your wounds, almost half hearing you, as Rex like all over your face. And Jason's, what? Meg, are you all right? Are you okay?
No. Yeah.
You're bleeding.
I'm fine. Jason, we have to get out of the underground.
What? No, we have to stay.
Yes, we have to get out.
What? Why do you want to get out?
Because the tiles are bad.
And he looks around very confused. And sort of leans in. What's wrong with the tiles?
She gets lost in his eyes because their faces are really close together.
Yeah, he's like up like this close, and he's like, Meg, what's wrong with the tiles?
Jason.
Yes, that's right. But you're Meg. Meg, what's wrong with the tiles?
I don't know, but I don't like them.
Okay, well, can you wait it out until we at least fix you up? Until the bombs stop? Everything's burning out there.
Okay.
And he looks like mildly mortified. It's almost just like his hand reaches out to scratch Rex. He's like, look, I don't know how long it's going to keep going on for, but are you well, you're not okay, are you? No. Okay. And I can't find Jane. She came down here with us.
Jane.
And then he does sort of squint. He's like, the one in the dress.
I know who Jane is.
Okay, I'm just checking. And he sort of like dodges as you sort of like swing a very like limp arm his way, and he's like, okay, I know. I can't find her.
We should check the tiles.
What is it with you and these tiles?
They're bad.
Okay, the tiles are bad. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tiles are bad.
You're stupid.
And he looks up at your dad, and he's just like, how long has she been like this? And he sort of looks, he sort of, your dad looks back at Jason, confused, if anything. He's like, are you Jason? Like, and he's just
Dad,
like,
this is Jason. He's a dick.
okay, one, we don't use that language, Meg. No, it's not funny. I know we've got this going on, You should apologize. And Jason looks a little bit smug at that.
I'm sorry you're a dick.
And he's sort of like, you can see his brow tense for a moment. And he's like, right. Yeah, no, she's fine. And sort of stands up and starts to, he doesn't move away. You can tell that he's sort of just standing closely, looks slightly worried, but watching. But does keep his distance.
I smile up at him.
You know, you're really unnerving when you're doing this.
Smiling?
No, the staring, actually, is more what I was specifically concerned of.
Is it better if I do this?
No, that is worse. That is much, much worse.
Is it better if I do this?
You know you'll stay like that when the wind changes, right?
That's not a thing!
It is a thing! Like,
it's
he sort of
not
starts
a thing.
arguing. And, like, Fran, you can hear this argument between your brother and Meg as you can see Jason stood up, what looks like shouting at the ground because Meg is down tucked behind some boxes. But he's just like, God, I was just trying to help, and he looks frustrated.
I appreciate it, thank you!
Do you? Like,
yeah!
Yeah! It's just like he's trying to puff up his tiny little chest and stuff like that. He's like, well, you're welcome! Yeah. Yeah. And he just stares at you for a long time. And again, Fran, Dewey, you see this glare going on.
Jason!
What?
What did you do?
Really? Really? There's a war going on. As he sort of like yells, you've heard your dad say that a lot to your mum. But he's like, I'm trying to help, and she's not taking the help. She called me a dick.
That's because you are one.
I will fight you, Dewey. Like, it's like there is.
Bring it on.
And there's a moment where everything starts to quiet. You can still hear the bombs outside, but in the actual underground, it starts to not calm down, but people are going silent now, just watching the ceiling. As you can see some of the dust sort of come through, but these tiles and this sort of dome is holding strong. And at this point, Fran, probably you as Dewey is currently arguing with Jason, you see Jane being carried straight down these steps. And Jane, you are sort of put down, and your dad, you don't go far. And he immediately runs over to what looks to help moving some of the things as much as your mother does as well. And you're stood in the back on the London Underground platform.
Hi.
Jason, I found her!
And Jason's just like, you can see Jason getting closer and closer to Dewey. That looks like there's gonna, like, a fist is curling. And he's like, it's Jane! Meg, Jane's here!
Yeah!
Meg.
I found her.
Meg got hit, like, really bad, and so did Fran.
Jane, why are you being carried? Did you get hit by a building?
No, but I think my chimney fell down.
Did you get hit by it?
No, I was in the bomb shelter. Why are you all bloody?
I got hit by a building.
A really big one.
And you're alive?
I think so.
She's fine. As Jason sort of looks in
I don't
Meg's
know.
direction briefly.
How do you know she's real, Jason? Have you tried poking her?
As he says that, Jane walks up and like touches the blood on like Meg.
Yeah, you sort of feel that, and Dewey, you get jabbed by Jason, and he's just like, well, if you're real.
Yeah, nobody was debating whether I'm real.
And he sort of, again, sort of squints, looks at Fran. He's like, you alright?
Where's Mom and Dad?
I don't know.
How long are we supposed to stay down here?
Until
Dark and there's sounds.
yeah, until that stops.
That's boring.
Yeah, but look, I'm your older brother, and I promise Mom and Dad I would look after you.
I wonder if this is what it's like to be a worm.
He's like, I mean, it's not. Oh God, Fran, you're weird. He's like, and he sort of like looks again like down this place, and there is a moment where you hear an almighty crash, and tiles shudder and shatter and start to fall off the top of the ceiling of this place. Lots of people suddenly yell and scream, and the lights are extinguished as you feel that you actually see part of the rail bend up almost into an arch as if something has hit it, and you feel a heat coming from down the tunnel. There are yells, there are people screaming, and someone comes running out from the tunnel and goes, we need help, we need people, we need help. Something's just crashed into the underground and we don't know what it is, but there's too much space. And you can see some people, you can see the guy who normally, the milkman that comes round is immediately taking off his jacket, throwing it over his shoulder and started running down. That was the best sound, I think. That was amazing.
My dog would like to contribute to the soundtrack, please and thank you.
And it's Jerry, who you've seen deliver milk every morning. He starts sprinting down this tunnel. You see more people taking to it as you hear the screams and the shouts, and you see this man come over to your father, Meg, and sort of pull him up and talk to him and sort of having a conversation.
Yeah, if he starts walking away, Meg's literally grabbing him and not letting go. I'm gonna sit on his foot like kids do, and he's screwed.
Yeah, you can see him at the edge of the platform, and this man is talking to him, and he looks angry, like he's gesturing towards you, and then he's gesturing down the tunnel, and there's a lot of gestures. Basically, he's moving his arms around a lot. You can see his uniform is covered in dirt as he's having this very much enraged argument with this man. You can see some of the fire blankets being disappeared down this tunnel as well, and Rex starts to bark at the tunnel. He's got down onto the rails and he's just barking at like the metal that's bent and the tunnel itself.
Dad!
And he's like, hang on, Meg.
Dad! No, Dad!
And he looks at it like, give me a second, and walks over to you, Meg. And he sort of kneels down. He's like, yes.
There's something in that tunnel.
Yes, it sounds like a plane's come down.
No,
it's gonna make it weaker. There's people in trouble, Meg.
No, there's bad people in the tunnel.
Well, I mean, a plane has crashed. I don't know if it's one of ours. I don't know if it's one of theirs, but there are people down there working to try and put supplies down there. We need to go help. They're stuck. They're trapped.
No.
What do you mean, no, Meg?
No.
No what?
Can't go. And now she's got her like hand on his arm and she's like digging her little nails in.
Yeah. He's like, no, you can't go. You're right.
No, you can't go. I'm right.
Meg, I am one of the most fit and able person down here.
No.
I am.
You can't go.
And there's a sort of sadness. He's like, I'll be right back.
I start hitting him.
Yeah, he's just like Meg, like, and he's trying to like catch your arms as you're doing it. He's like, Meg, I'm coming back. I'm just gonna go and see if I can help people. That's what we do, isn't it? We help people.
No, you watch. You're a watcher.
By doing that, I'm helping people. I helped you when you got hit. What if that was Daddy down there and no one came to help him? What if that was me trapped in that tunnel? I don't know if it's going to collapse.
I come save you.
Exactly, and that's what I'm doing.
Then I'll do it too.
No. You're not coming down. A plane has come through the underground. You are not coming through. Look at you. Look at this. You need to get better so that you can help me when I get back. Meg, look at me. And he sort of like lowers like your hands that have been like going for his face and his shoulders and his arms. And he sort of holds your face. It's like, I'm coming back. Okay? I need you to just sit tight. Look after yourself. Look after Jason. No offense, he doesn't seem a very capable kid. Okay? You know you're smart. I know you're smart. You knew they were coming before it happened. It's not the first time you've done that, is it? Knowing something was coming. Well, if you can sense something is coming, use it to look after yourself and your friends. And please, don't call anyone a dick in front of your mother.
Where is Mom?
I don't know. But all I know is I need to keep you safe down here right now. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'll be right back. And he sort of like leans forward and gives you a fairly sort of long kiss on the forehead. And it's like, right back. And he starts to break into a run, slaps one of the other men on the back, and they both start running into the tunnel, taking the torches with them.
Jane, Dewey, friend, Jason.
What?
We have to go.
Reporting for duty.
Where are we
Ow.
going?
Ow. We're going down the tunnel.
Wait, what? Like Jason is there, like almost half grabbing Dewey, and Dewey's like I'm assuming holding back.
Stop it! Stop
It's
it!
just like smacking both of them.
Yeah.
Stop being dicks. We have to go down the tunnel.
She called you a dick.
She called you a dick. Like he sort of looks over at Dewey, like, what is a dick again?
We have to go down the tunnel right away.
What's down there?
Crashed plane and my dad.
Ooh.
Is this the same end of the tunnel that the dog was barking down?
What, the first time you came into the underground?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, this is coming from the opposite direction.
Okay.
Oh.
As long as we're not going that way.
No,
That way is the
no.
bad way.
Yeah, no. We're not
I
going
want to
that
see a
way.
plane.
I mean, but what if it's not one of ours?
I want to see a plane.
They don't hurt children's.
They don't?
No.
And if they're bad people, we just hit them over the head like this.
Yeah.
And then I like slap Jason over the
Yeah.
head.
So just Jason's getting, he's like, what is with you girls? Like, as he sort of like rubs the back of his head. He's like, I mean, I won't lie. I mean, it'd be helping, right? If we.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think Meg's gonna go whether or not we go with her.
Yeah.
And it would be helpful for us to go with her to make sure she doesn't get lost.
Meg, you can't go on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah, come with me.
And you can see Rex is barking at the mouth of this tunnel, and he sort of took off after your dad, Meg.
So we gotta go after Rex too.
And I want to see a plane.
Right. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this. As Jason's like the oldest and this sort of like, okay, but we stick together and we don't go running off. As he sort of looks at everyone after last time.
And somebody has to help me walk while I pretend to be a groundhog.
I'll help you. What are you doing?
Pretending to be a groundhog. The
Why
snake
holding your
got
breath?
boring. No, I got.
You gotta close your eyes because they're blind.
A groundhog's
If you go
blind.
underground.
Then how do they see
Is
the
it
shadow?
spring?
Oh. I don't know.
I don't think I haven't learned that yet, and I'm like the year above you, and I haven't learned that yet.
Well, that's because we're smart, Jason.
I think I was thinking of a
mole.
mole.
Yeah,
From,
They'd be more like this.
Thumbelina.
that's definitely a mole.
The mole. You're a mole, Jason.
I have a mole on my
Why
back.
am I a mole? Yes, he's so-
I don't know.
And you can like bear in mind, there's people sort of sat like quivering a little bit. You feel like the as these kids argue about whether Jason is a mole or not, you can still feel the bumps. You can see some of the families are chatting. Some of them, someone's got a piece of chalk and is drawing on the ground, trying to distract their kids with like noughts and crosses. Well, look, if we're gonna go, we may as well go quick because we don't get lost in there on our own. I mean, I know it's only one way, but it's dark in there.
Let's go, Fan. If you're a mole, how are you going to see the plane?
I'm not a mole.
Not you. We're talking about
You.
Well,
I'm
why is
sorry.
Fran a mole?
I'm
Fan wants to be a
pretending.
mole.
No,
Bye.
I thought you were a worm.
being a worm got boring. They just kind of do this. I want to know what other things do.
I'm
Are you
going.
gonna go
And he sort of like
underground?
turns on one of the torches and
You-
starts to shine it down the
Somebody help me off the ground.
I am next to you. And I'm doing the like you put your arm on my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And you
learned
manage
this
to
in
sort
Boy
of
Scouts.
like it's a mixture of Jason doing like pulling you down onto the actual tracks, Fran, and Jason's jumped down and sort of switched on this torch and cast it into the tunnel. Ready? Okay, so rule is we all stick together, and if we don't, if anyone walks apart, then we're starting to hold hands. I'm not
I
getting
don't
lost
Buddy
want
in
to
system.
here.
hold your hand.
I don't
I'll
wanna
hold your
hold
hand,
your-
Jason.
You what?
Nothing. I start walking ahead.
Don't we
Wait, I
need,
said
like,
buddy
a-
system, and as he
Don't we
starts-
need like a call? Like, how do we know? What if one of the other people like pretends to be us? We need like a secret thing. What are they called? Somebody help me out here.
signal?
Yeah.
Fist bump?
Handshake.
No, it's a word. What's your secret phrase?
Oh, like I say Jason and you respond with is a dick.
I swear.
And then we know it's us.
Okay, let's go. We're ready to
Why
go.
don't we just start going dick, dick, dick?
What's a dick?
Um,
dick?
I'll explain
Okay.
it while we walk.
No. Like Jason looks suddenly worried that he's gonna get in trouble. He's
All
like,
right.
it's nothing,
And I think
Jane.
like
It's-
Jane like
it's-
runs up next to Meg. What's a dick?
It's Rich. It's short for Richard. As he sort of starts running after you, and you start to work your way down this tunnel, and it starts to feel like the air itself was very stagnant. It feels very musty, not very fresh, and it feels quite warm. The sort of closer you know. And it's very, very dark. You literally can only see by torchlight. You can hear Rex echoing somewhere. You can hear yells, and it's almost like the crackle of fire. And overhead, you can still hear that sort of drumming of explosions and bombs, but it doesn't seem to be as regular as it was. You can hear the propellers very, very faintly and the whistles going overhead. And could you all make a spot hidden check for me, please?
I will use my advantage.
Okay.
Good use of advantage.
Thanks, Kelly.
Dane can't see anything.
So on this roll, Meg and Jane, you're walking. You can see the torchlight sort of flashing about. And there's a moment where Meg, you can also see the light coming from Jason's torch as he turns around. Where's Dewey and Fran? This is a one-way tunnel. They can't have gone anywhere. And you sort of turn around and Dewey and Fran are gone. Fran? Like, it's not like she could run fast.
Fran?
Am I there with him?
You're there with them.
Okay. Maybe she became a mole.
Okay, we need to stop with the mole thing. It's like Jason sort of puts the light on you, Jane, as you can see, and he's like, and what is that smell? It smells weird. What is that? I don't think there's like a smell roll in this. So this moment, and it smells dank, like it's wet as well. Something has got damp, and you can still hear Rex barking. I don't like this. We said we were going to stick together.
Well,
right?
Let's keep going. Maybe they're just in front of us. Fran? Dewey?
Okay.
Stop being dicks.
Okay, we're going to teach you what that is later. And he sort of keeps the torch out and starts walking. You hear the crunch of the stones beneath your feet along those railway lines as you walk. And up ahead, you think you can see a soft glow, almost like a flicker, but you can't hear anything. It's almost as if all of a sudden your hearing goes dead. You can hear each other, but you keep to walk. And Jason looks a little bit panicked, sort of flashing the light around. He's like, what did you mean by the tiles, Meg? As he sort of like pans the light up the wall around all of these white tiles.
I saw them before.
Well, you've been in the underground before, right?
Yeah, but that's not what I mean.
Right. Okay. And he sort of keeps looking. I don't... Why is all this happening? And he sort of looks to both Jane and Meg.
Why is what happening? The war? The
Yeah, all
smell?
of it. Well, the smell's like a more instant thing, but I don't really know what. I don't know.
Well, my dad says it's the Germans.
Right. No, I know who it is. I'm just, I don't get it. And he's like, what is that? And he sort of casts his light over, and there's what looks like almost like a flicker. Like you can see, like there's a breeze, sort of making it flap of white paper, sort of stuck to the side of the circular tunnel.
Jane's gonna run over and look at it.
Yeah, you can sort of snatch it down. You have to jump a little bit. It looks like it was put up sort of beyond your height. You snatch it down, and you're looking at a picture of yourself. And it says missing. What is it?
This is weird. Come look at this. It says I'm missing.
What? And he sort of holds the torch up.
See, isn't that me?
It looks like you.
It looks old. I don't get it. And he sort of casts the light up again and looks around, and as it sort of pans down the tunnel, you almost don't see any tiles for just the missing posters. All of these letters, all of these leaflets almost stuck. Sort of, you realize that one sound of the almost like the flapping, it's these papers in the breeze.
Can I check to see if they're all of me or are they of other people too?
You sort of head down. Jason doesn't necessarily follow you, sort of pointing and just looking up. And again, you have to sort of snatch at some, and as you look up and he directs the light, you see a poster of you, Fran, Meg, Jason, Dewey, Rex.
Why are we all missing?
We're not missing.
But these posters say we're missing. It's like on the back of the milk cartons.
Jason sort of snatches one down of you, Meg. This doesn't make any sense.
How long have we been down here?
10 minutes, as he sort of looks down.
Well, maybe we should keep going. There's a plane. I want to see the plane.
Okay.
Give me that. I want.
He sort of hands it over to you.
Is there anything weird about it? Does it have today's date on it?
You can see it says in big letters missing. It gives a brief description of you, and it says since missing September 1940. There is a reward for any information.
What day is it today?
Here comes Lauren. It's this.
I believe it is the 21st of
21st.
September. Yep, because I keep singing the song.
Yep. It's useful. Alice,
Yes.
can I make a clairvoyance roll?
Of course you may.
Okay, I'll use an advantage.
Go for it.
Regular success.
Okay. You sort of touch the paper, and there's a moment where you hear like a clang, and you see it being nailed into the wall, breaking a tile. These aren't normally nailed in, they're normally stuck to things, but you realize that also half the time staplers and things like that, they're not going to go through these walls. And you can see the hand putting it up is your mother's hand, sort of very shakily putting it up over and over again, sort of for a moment running her fingers across the picture, half confused.
Let's go. Let's move fast. Dewey and Fran will catch up.
Aren't they all ahead of us? Where would they have gone?
I don't know, but I want to go get my dad, and you can come or you cannot come, Jane. Because I'm going.
Okay, I'm coming. I want to see the plane.
Yay.
And Jason is sort of taking one of each person down, and you continue to move through the tunnel. And as you do, these posters on them, you seem to age. and you get to a point where Meg and Jane, you see a picture that has your name on it, but you don't recognize the person in the
Oh
picture.
my
It's-
god, who is this beautiful woman? She is so stylish. Her hair's so short.
Who is it?
It says MEG.
Yeah, but that's impossible. This person looks to be like 30 years old.
I mean, according to maths, she's 36, so thank you.
And Jason looks at you and sort of reaches out and pulls one down of him. I mean, it can't be me. I'm like 11. Who is this guy? And you see a man sort of like looking back, very sharp jaw, neat hair, shirt, jacket, sort of half smiling, very weirdly smiling back through the drawing. He's like, I don't know who this is.
Oh my god.
What?
Nothing. Can
And
I
he
have
has a
that?
library card.
Can I have that?
He's
Can
like,
I have
mean,
that one? Let me see that one. Let me look closer. It's dark in here.
Yeah, there you go. Right, and he sort of reaches up and takes his own another one down. He's like, "This is one of Fran and Dewey here. What's wrong
What
with
are
Fran's
they wearing?
name?" I don't know. God, that shirt's awful. As he sort of like loses himself for a moment, looking. And it can't be Fran. The name's wrong. Look.
But what's the last name?
They sort of decimal. Why? This is impossible. This is ridiculous. We need to just.
Fine, let's move
Please.
then. Let's just ignore the wall of missing posters and keep moving.
Just, okay. And then I need you all to roll a sanity check,
No.
please.
No.
Ah,
Sean,
Yes.
I will
advantage.
do this with advantage as
Yep.
well.
Cool. Regular
hold on.
success.
I gotta find my sanity die.
Oh. Okay.
Hold on. What did I roll? Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So please lose just one sanity. And
Faye.
I know, just rolling so horribly.
and Jane, as you look, you're still looking up at the posters as you can hear them arguing about walking, and as you do, you sort of turn the light yourself, and they're gone. You can hear them, and they should be right in front of you from the sound of it, but you can't see them.
Meg? Jason?
Meg, you don't hear anything. Well, you hear Jason arguing with you, but that's about it.
Yeah. I grab his hand and to drag him along, assuming that Jane's ahead of us now.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm coming. And he sort of lets you half drag him as you both start disappearing down the tunnel.
Don't leave me back here. And I think Jane runs down the tunnel thinking that they've probably gone on without her.
And you sort of see your shoes scuffing as you go, as you run down this tunnel into the darkness. And Dewey and Fran, you realize you're on your own. Just on your own. You can't hear anyone. You realize it mainly because Jason has stopped arguing with Meg. But you notice suddenly how quiet it is.
Fran?
I'm right here.
It's quiet.
I know, I don't like it.
Where's Jason?
I don't know. It hasn't been quiet with him around since I was born.
I don't think it was quiet when you were born either. Fran,
Yeah.
don't tell Jason I said this, but I'm scared.
I definitely feel better if he was here too.
No. Oh,
We'll just pretend to be moles, except we can't hear anything instead of not being able to see anything.
okay, put your hands on. Oh, I need a hand to help you though.
Oh.
I'll put my hand on my ear, and then you put your hand on your ears.
Okay. How do we talk to each other?
Oh, that works too. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. We could talk about books, or we could talk about worms. Although I've decided that worms are boring.
Oh, well, okay. Okay, how about this? Fran, what's your favorite animal?
Right now it's groundhog.
Oh, we already talked about groundhogs.
Oh, what about we talk? Where's Rex?
Oh. Rex?
Oh.
Could you please roll both roll spot hidden check for me, please?
No, but I will use advantage.
Same.
Yes!
You're both sort of Fran, you're limping a little bit. Dewey is helping you as you're walking along, and you sort of cry out down this tunnel, and you hear nothing in reply. But one thing you do hear somewhere in this tunnel.
Nope. Run away.
Footsteps.
Ooh.
Very slow footsteps. And that is where we will take our break. Everyone get up, stretch, get a drink, and we will be back in 5 minutes. See you in a moment. Oh, hi. And Dewey and Fran, you hear this clack, 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 almost echoing around this tunnel.
Dewey, can I tell you a secret?
What?
When I'm scared, I just pretend to be something else.
Does it work?
Well, we've been talking about moles and groundhogs and worms for the last 20 minutes, so I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pretend to be a cheetah and I want to run away.
Oh, I was gonna be a reporter and ask it questions.
Okay.
Maybe it's somebody coming down to find us.
Okay. I'm
Hello?
gonna pretend to. Oh.
Okay, what are you pretending to be?
Nope. I'm gonna pretend to be a brave person. I don't think it's working though.
Hello, my name is Amelia Smith, and I work for the local newspaper, and I want to ask you some questions about how you ended up in this tunnel.
You hear the clack, clack,
And
clack.
how you're wearing heeled shoes down here, because it can't be very comfortable to walk in those right now.
Clack, 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 as it slowly starts to come closer.
Dewey still has his like arm, or I guess, yeah, he still has his arm around Fran, and his hand is digging into your side, not on purpose.
You hear almost like the swish of long skirts and material brushing against the stones as that clack, clack comes further down.
It's a lady.
I'm brave. I'm brave. I'm brave. I'm brave.
Ma'am?
There is no reply.
Well, that's just rude. Let's go now.
And somewhere you start to hear sobbing.
Dewey, maybe she's lost too. Maybe.
Are you lost?
There's that clack, clack. And it's getting closer now. You think you sort of pick out that strange almost outline at the end.
I can just hear my dog eating. Jump, 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 jump.
As Rex eats his dinner further down the line.
Sorry, I tuned it out. I'm so used to it.
And you see this outline of a figure, and you just hear that clack, clack as it walks directly down the train line towards you. Is it you? Have I found you?
Hello?
Who are you looking for? Yeah, it's a good question.
Son, is that you? And then there's more sobbing, but it's like it comes from behind you, not in front.
I'm a girl.
I'm a boy. Wait, but no, son, does this sound like my mother?
No.
Okay. I'm a boy, but that's not my mommy. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm a boy, but I don't think I'm your son.
And out of the darkness, you just see this long hand reach out. A very old, withered hand with very long, almost yellowing nails. And it sort of holds out as if to take your hand. I found you.
Nope. We should go away now, do we?
You see almost like a black velvet sleeve mixed with this sort of crochet sort of drop as she holds her hand out.
Fran is gonna tug on Dewey to like leave to try and get around her.
Yeah. What are you doing?
And there's a moment where the hand just stays there, and the finger starts to curl when you don't take it. I think I'm losing him.
Do we still hear the crying from behind us?
You do.
And Fran just goes, I think he's over there.
And you hear that clack, clack, as 2 steps take forward. And almost merging, you barely see it. You just see almost like the definition of cheekbones, a nose, but it is in a black shroud.
Does she walk like past us?
She's walking towards you.
Who are you looking for? And I think Dewey's gonna actually put his arm and like kind of move Fran behind him a little bit.
And Fran's just gonna like pull on Dewey because she can't walk very well on her own, and she's just gonna be like, let's go.
Okay.
You hear
Can we
another
go?
voice in the darkness. A man. And you see from this hand that's reaching out, from the side, a man takes it. Her other hand comes out. Another hand takes it. You see 2 different sleeves. Hold on. And then you hear 3 sets of footsteps take a step towards you. And as if a match is lit. And you start to hear like a whine, like almost like a crackle of a voice as this sound starts to come out of the darkness, this crackly sort of as that it opens. Maybe Laura doesn't like the crunch. As this crackle starts to happen and this bizarre color starts to reach through the darkness towards you. And Fran, as you take a step back, as Dewey shoves you behind, your foot catches on something on the ground. You almost kick it back. And by kicking it back, you almost hear like a ka-choom as something rolls over. And there's a music box which falls open. And it starts to play a tune. And you can see at the center of this music box, you, Dewey, and Fran, sort of rotating around the center as that sound starts to get louder and louder, as it gets so loud. And it sits by your feet, Fran. And then you hear the clack, clack, as 3 sets of footsteps move forward.
Can I pick up the music box and close it?
You pick up the music box. As you see you both rotating around with this music. And you look at the mirror behind, and someone else blinks back. And then that noise gets louder and louder. And with one final, it slams shut. And everything stops. Jane, you're walking
Yes.
down this tunnel on your own. And you can't seem to hear anyone or almost like feel anyone around. You can feel the heat, what you can assume is maybe like a fire going on somewhere, probably from where the plane has crashed. And there's the flicker of all of these posters sort of rattling around on the walls. And somewhere you smell popcorn. Like that really buttery smell.
I think no one's eaten dinner, and so I think Jane is probably really hungry, and she kind of just like follows that smell. She wants popcorn.
And you can hear your own footsteps, you can hear your own heart beating as it sort of pumps the blood around your body. You can hear everything. It's almost like you're hypersensitive. And you walk through this darkness and your torch is starting to go out. It's sort of like flickering a little bit. But you can smell popcorn, you can smell nuts cooking, like caramelizing. You
Hello?
start to see in the distance what looks like a flashing light.
I kind of pick up my pace and run more quickly towards it.
Okay. You start running towards the light, and as you get closer, you see there's multiple. Maybe 5 or 6 different ones, and they're getting brighter and brighter, like white, yellow, red, blue. Like it's getting really, really bizarre. When you run closer and closer, you sort of approach and you hear what sounds like a gate swing.
Hello?
And your feet touch grass.
Is anyone there?
And there's that flick again and again of your torch, and then when you shake it a few times, as you turn it on, you're stood in a field.
Hello? And I take a few steps forward.
You take these steps forward, and you see that the ground is a mixture of grass and dirt, this field. There's some fences up, these metal sort of almost wire fences. One of them looks like where a chain is broken, it sort of swings backwards and forth. And ahead of you through these gates, you see a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round, a carousel, and all of these stools in bright reds and yellows, and a huge tent. But nothing's moving, nothing's turning. But you can still smell that popcorn. You can still smell those nuts caramelizing, and you see huge sort of what looks like big bags of candy floss swaying in this breeze. Tickets litter the floor. A missing poster sort of rolls past you, and you can see fairground tickets.
Hello? And Jane keeps walking forward. She is probably walking through the fence and kind of not even knowing it, like being drawn to the stalls that have food in them. Because I imagine that it's probably time of war, and she probably hasn't had a lot of popcorn and candy And yeah.
You approach, and it's one of the few things that seem to be lit. This is like an evening fair. You can see some lights, and you can see that glass sort of popcorn maker on top of this brightly red painted, red and gold on wheels with a loop end. You see the light as the popcorn is popping. And could you make a listen check for me, please?
Yes. Here we go. Is it still a horrible roll? Yep.
As you get closer and closer, you notice you can't hear anything else at all. Just this popcorn. In fact, it seems to get very, very loud. And for a while, you listen to it as you're drawn towards this very rich smell. And you realize the pops you're hearing are not the pops of popcorn. But there's someone going pop, 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 pop.
I jerk around. Hello, is someone there?
And you can't see anyone, but you almost feel lips by your ear. Pop, pop, pop! And it goes really loud, and the glass shatters and the popcorn starts to file out.
I think Jane is so hungry that she kind of reaches forward, almost not believing that there's this much popcorn in the world, to like touch it and see if it's actually real popcorn.
You touch it, it's warm. It's just been popped.
Shoves it in her mouth.
And it tastes, and you can feel that like hot, buttery sort of popcorn as it sort of hits your empty stomach, and you can just keep eating it. It's like handfuls of it, you can take it. And you can hear a sign swinging overhead by the main tent, that creak. And you look over at this tent, this big red and white and yellow tent, big pavilion. And by the door, a face, smiling, peers back at you. Big red mouth, white face, red nose, the big sort of blue triangles down the side.
I think Jane kind of like has a handful of popcorn that she's eating, and she's like very slowly walking because this is the first person that she sees. Hello, sir. Hello.
And the smile just sits there. The eyes don't blink.
She's gonna get closer to see if this is a real person or like a dummy.
You get closer and closer, and it is unmoving. How close do you get?
Close enough to touch.
You get sort of this far away, and as you do, it blinks.
Yeah. And she jumps back, throws popcorn everywhere.
And you see where it's just holding the material around its face, you see a hand drop and slowly come out of the tent, holding a ticket.
Oh, thank you, but I'm actually looking for my friends.
And it very slowly just retreats back into the tent, and the material closes.
Sir, can you help me? And is this tent like openable, the flaps?
Yeah, you can see where it's like one that you go into for the full main circus performance.
Okay, she'll open up the tent to kind of follow this creepy clown.
You step straight in to this tent. Lights start to flash as you look into this huge circle as people sit there laughing. All the boxes are full. You couldn't hear this from the outside, and you see at the center these clowns laughing, but everyone is laughing. No one's doing anything. They're just laughing. You see
How
that
close?
clown at the center sort of like beckoning for you to come further in.
How close are the people to me?
They're not super close. You're sort of at the entrance. The stalls are full. It's more that people are all sat down around, and they are laughing. And the more you sort of look at them, the more you notice nothing's happening on the stage. There's nothing there, but they're laughing. And their faces are very smiley, and you see how wide their smiles go as the tips of their mouths hit where their cheekbones are.
Hello, can you help me find my friends? Their names are Meg and Dewey and Fran and Jason, and there's a dog, Rex. And she keeps walking in, kind of following the path very slowly of this clown that's beckoning her in.
And he just does a slow nod and gets you to keep walking.
And I'm gonna keep following this clown.
And at the center, everything falls quiet. The music's still going. And he sort of does this in front of your face, swirling his fingers. And then you're on stage. And there is a box on stage. You've seen this in shows. How magicians saw people in half. And there's also these huge tanks of water. Then you can see a ring of fire. And he looks to you, excited. And there's a moment where he starts making very large, over-the-top hand gestures and is there just almost presenting for people to come on stage. And you see walk on Dewey, Fran, Meg, and Jason.
Oh, I knew you were all in front of me. Why did you run off without me?
And as that happens, they all snap their faces round to look at you to reveal full clown face paint.
No, that's not the best look, but all right.
And they stand and they stare at you. Smiles stretching wider and wider.
Well, can we go now? I don't like this. I don't like being on stage.
And the clown sort of takes off his hat and does a low bow to you, very much all the way down to the floor. Fingers, his gloved fingers touching. And as he raises back up and puts on a different hat, his face is fully bandaged, as are his hands. He still wears the clown uniform and tips his head to the side. No facial expression as the tie starts to whiz round.
Okay, I don't like this anymore. Let's go. Let's go. And she goes over to whoever is the closest in her friends and like tries to grab their hand to like tug them.
You can get to Meg first, and Meg doesn't flinch at you. She looks straight past you, eyes wide, mouth smiling, very, very much just grinning.
Let's go.
And
I'm tugging on her hand.
Yeah, you sort of tug at her, and she very slowly creaks her head towards you, and then you notice there's almost a line and a line here, like a doll, like a mannequin.
Jane drops her hand.
The bottom of the jaw drops and closes again, and it goes pop, 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 and they all start to turn and walk towards you. And this bandaged face starts to walk towards you again, shoulder popping out in the wrong direction, arm moving, neck sort of making very jolty movements, and his legs start to move in a very mechanical way as he starts to walk towards you. Hello, readers.
I will, at this point, I've dropped this creepy Meg doll mannequin's hand, and I've kind of slowly started to back away from the mannequins, and I want to try and now start running around this bandaged dude with the creepy arms.
As you turn and run, you run down the steps of the stage. These mannequins all turn to look at you, but his bandaged face doesn't stop. In fact, he breaks into a run. You see his arms start to outstretch, and these bandages start to leave his hands and his arms as they almost move through the air like tendrils, reaching out for you. Could you please roll a sanity check for me?
So horrible at these. Okay, I'm gonna use an advantage if I still have any.
I believe you do.
Yeah.
That could be me, and use a disadvantage, but I won't. Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Could you please lose 3 sanity?
Oh my gosh.
As you sort of drop to your knees, as everywhere you turn, these bandages start to swell, and you notice they're starting to bind up your hands. They're starting to wrap around you, your face. You can feel like it coming up around the top of your head, around your ears. Everything is muffling, apart from this bizarre circus music that starts getting louder and louder in your head. You hear explosions somewhere, and you hear so much laughter coming from this crowd. And the smell of popcorn lingers. Meg, you and Jason are walking down this sort of tunnel. Somewhere you think you can hear music, but it seems to fade. And
your hand's sweaty.
And he's like, I'm just nervous, okay?
Okay.
Aren't you?
Why are you nervous?
But because we're going against the rules. We're in a dangerous situation, Meg. This isn't normal.
Oh, I thought it's because.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. Where did everyone else go?
I don't know. And I can't hear them either. We should have caught up by now.
Dick!
And he sort of like squints until he realizes you're using the safety word. He's like, we need to change that safety word.
I think it's really good though.
You would.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. Feel good. Feel good.
Do you think your dad's gonna be mad?
I don't care.
He's sort of like straight up and he's like, oh, then nor do I.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Do you really think I'm a dick?
No.
Okay. Because I'm not. I'm not that bad. I know I can, I guess be a pain. But
Nah, you're good.
I am?
Yeah, you watch out for Fran, and I like you because I can beat you at everything. That's cool too.
He sort of like frowns. He's like what?
Like Maths and word games and sports.
You can be everyone at word games. That's not fair.
Yeah.
And when we play like board games and stuff, I swear you cheat. It's like you know what's going to happen.
Nuh-uh. I'm not cheating.
Fine. It's impossible for you to cheat anyway.
Because I'm little?
No. Because it's really difficult to cheat at those sort of games.
Why, have you tried?
No. And he immediately looks very like,
Mm.
no, I don't cheat at games.
Your cheeks are flushed as you put
And
some
he's
awkward
like,
hand.
he's like, no, they're not flushed. I am warm from walking. This is a lot of exercise. We climbed up a building earlier. There's a lot going on.
I got smacked by a building.
Yeah, how are you feeling after that?
Fine. I'm hardy.
Right, okay. So you're hardy and I'm a dick.
That could be our detective agency name. Dick and Hardy.
Really? And he's like, and he sort of like looks at you, he's like, okay, right, I want to find this like plane now. And he starts to walk.
I'm staying with him. I'm keeping my hand on his.
He sort of keeps hold of your hand, and you've both got a torch out. And
The others didn't have a torch.
No. Oh. Well, they got to be real lost then. And he looks nervous. He looks real nervous.
Look brave then.
And somewhere you hear Rex barking.
Oh, come on, maybe he's found it.
You think?
He's a good dog, probably.
Okay, and he sort of like picks up the pace a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to walk sort of more and more hurriedly, and you hear that crunching beneath your feet, and you hear sort of as you cast your torch over, you see Rex sat there just barking into the darkness.
Rex, come here! Rex!
And there's a moment that he sort of looks at you and continues to bark. Why is he not coming back? He was a good dog.
Yeah, but he's stubborn. Like, yeah.
And he gives you a look.
Like no one. Come on, let's go get him.
Following you, Hardy. He sort of like keeps
This way,
after you.
Dick.
He sort of sighs and continues to walk. And you walk straight up to Rex.
Uh-huh.
And you see him barking and barking and barking. And you can see facing the wall, and I mean like almost pressed up against the wall, like nose touching, a man. In a long coat. Who was that?
Maybe someone who came down?
Okay, but why is he looking at the wall? There's nothing there.
I don't know, maybe he's in timeout.
He's in timeout? Why would he be in timeout down here? He's too old for timeout.
I don't know.
He's too old for timeout.
How do you know?
I'm too old for timeout.
I'm not.
I'm too.
I'm not.
Look, okay, we need to argue about this afterward.
I'm gonna get Rex. I'm gonna get Rex.
Okay, and then what? That guy's in our way.
He's at the wall, so we'll just go to the other wall and slide down.
Like, shimmy?
Yeah.
Okay, I can shimmy.
Can you?
What's that look for?
Nothing? Nothing? Okay, I'm gonna get Rex.
You can sort of pick this dog up.
Yeah.
He lets you pick him up, like this tiny little thing is like just like growling now.
And then we press ourselves up against the opposite wall.
He's sort of like pressed very much up the opposite wall. And he sort of you start to move. And you feel this very much sort of cold shiver come over you. And you can feel the cold tiles up against your back. And this man doesn't move. As you sort of, you can see all the way around as you start to move this long coat. And what looks to be like a mop of blondish kind of hair, like a sandy colored hair. And Jason, you can feel very much clinging to you now, probably more than the other way around. And he's like, fine, I guess we just leave him, right?
Is he wearing a uniform?
Seems to be. You recognize it in the way that you recognize it as a uniform. You don't recognize like a particular uniform.
Okay, so if we're on the other side of him, since we're on the other side now, excuse me.
You sort of move, you keep to the back of the edge, because even if you tried to move, you feel Jason sort of pushing you back. And he moves, and as you say, excuse me, his head sort of falls back and stays there for a moment before he just smashes it forward, and you can hear glass shatter.
Are you all right?
And then he does it again. That crack. And you hear that crack. And Jason's like, okay, we should go. I don't like it. Or, and he starts to not run, but he's dragging you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go with him. I think we need to get help.
And as you do, you turn. And he's there. On the tracks. A man with sandy blonde hair. You can see red start to trickle down the side of his face. And down the front. And then down the other side. And starts to sort of run down his neck. And he stands there. And you can hear breathing. Heavy, difficult breathing. As you see very, very blue eyes sort of look back at you.
Jason,
Jason is white.
Jason, hold Rex.
Why, what are you gonna do? Why,
hold Rex.
Okay. And he sort of takes this dog as this man stands there looking at you and just watches.
Okay. We're gonna walk past now. Jason, stay behind me.
Stay behind you? I'm just saying I'm taller.
Yeah, and you're weaker too.
Okay, can we not have this discussion in front of...
Just listen to me the first time I say something.
Okay. And as you say that, you hear a crack as the head snaps. and looks very much out of place as you see a bone sort of protrude here and look at you. It doesn't break the skin, but it looks.
Okay, we're gonna start skirting around him as much as possible.
And as you start to walk around, he lets you, but you see that his head readjusts and he turns and watches you move. He doesn't seem to take steps. In fact, you look at his feet and they're off the ground as he rotates to watch you go.
Okay, just keep moving, Jason.
That breathing's still heavy. You almost feel like you can hear it in your ear rather than coming from him.
Okay, yeah, we're just backing away.
You back away, further and further. And a hand reaches out. It's nowhere near you, but it reaches out as if it's reaching for you. Not offering a hand, it's reaching for you. And you hear panicked, very croaky voice of Ist him, as he keeps repeating it over and over again. And it gets lower and croakier and croakier. And Jason is just backing away.
Does it sound... Ooh, wait, I could probably do this. Does it sound like it's...
You can do a
Does it
language
sound like...
check if you
Yeah.
wish.
I was gonna do either language or psychology to see if I could tell, like...
Whichever you prefer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I have no German, so... Oh my god. I knew it.
I mean, you can tell it's German.
Yep. But he's not moving towards us?
No. He's reaching out and that's about it. And there's a moment where you hear another voice, a voice you recognize. Meg! As your father comes running down the tunnel towards you. And this man in a uniform turns around and starts to drift.
Wait!
Right down the tunnel.
Wait, help's coming!
Yeah. Your dad comes almost skidding to his knees. He's like, Meg, what are you doing down here? I told you not to come down here.
Dad, come on, someone needs help!
No, you don't understand. We need to get out the tunnel now.
Why?
Something's gone wrong. I don't know what it is, but we need to get out the tunnel now. And somewhere deep at the other edge of the tunnel, you hear this horrible sound. It starts off low, and then there's a screech with an underlying gurgle and crackle in the throat. That, as it sort of almost echoes, he's like, we need to go now. Now, we're running now. And he grabs both you and Jason. He's got Jason almost by the forearm and he starts dragging you all. And somewhere you hear men and women starting to scream. And the collapse of what sounds like brick and rubble. And he's like, go, 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 go.
Can I see the German man in front of us?
He's sort of slowly moving, but you can see him slowly disappearing into the darkness.
Okay, is he, if he's going, because it was like a one tunnel, there were no off, so
Nope.
If we can catch up to him, I'm gonna point him out to my dad. Dad, that man needs help.
So what man?
That man! I shine my torch on him.
And he looks forward. He's like, Meg, I don't see anything. We need to keep moving. You don't understand. There's something. We need to go. And he starts dragging you again. And this German man just watches you go.
I kind of reach out to him as I'm being dragged.
He reaches back. And there's a moment where your fingertips graze each other. And you see his eyes flash. And you just hear Veg as you disappear, being dragged off by your father into the dark. And Dewey and Fran, you wake up. And when I say wake up, you suddenly realize you feel like you've been asleep for a long time. And you realize you're both laying in beds, 2 single beds. There are 4 in here. The other 2 are empty. There is a window in the corner, wooden floorboards, an open fire in this bedroom.
Are there chestnuts roasting on the open fire?
This is Cthulhu, Sammy. You don't get chestnuts. Cthulhu chestnuts.
It's popcorn and candy floss.
Yeah, see? You never know. What is, like...
What do the walls look like? You said they're wooden floorboards.
Wooden floorboards, almost like wooden paneled. All the way around. You can see what looks to be a map of London, sort of up on the wall, a drawing. And you can see charts, like learning charts for mathematics and things like that.
Does it look like we're in the school?
It doesn't look like you're in a school. It looks like you're in a child's bedroom, as you can see toys on the floor, sort of scattered about.
Where are we, Fran?
I don't know.
Can we go out? I don't like this. I'm gonna go out to and check the door.
Okay.
Is it unlocked?
It is unlocked. In fact, as you approach it...
Oh, hell no. I go back. I run back.
It slowly swings open.
Is there anybody there?
There's no one on the other side, but you see, looks like a hallway. Again, wooden floorboards.
Are there any windows in this bedroom?
Yeah, there's a window in this bedroom, sort of at the back in between the beds. There's 2, technically.
Can I try to open it?
Okay, can you roll me? I was going to... Well, how are you doing it? Are you trying to do this, like, carefully? Like, trying to effectively pick it? Like, do it very carefully? Or are you, like, trying to kick this thing open?
With this music? I am trying to... No, I think... I don't... How scared are you, Fran? How scared do you look?
I think Fran looks more curious than scared.
Okay, then, I will try to, like, unlatch it, essentially. Or, yeah, like, lockpick it almost.
It's pretty stiff. Like, you can see where some of it seems to have rusted, so I will need you to make, lock-picking check, please. I will also let you use actually mechanical repair because of your dad's background.
Yes! No! I was so good.
You really struggle with the latch. If anything, you think it's rusted shut. You sort of try and move it up and down. And these sort of branches sort of pat and clack on this glass.
Can I just try and look out the other window and see if I can see anything?
Okay. Which one are you going to? The one where Dewey is, or literally the one?
I'll go to the one that Dewey's not at, since you said that there's kind of branches and stuff clacking at the window.
You have to stand up on one of the beds to have a look out, but you look, and you look as if you're looking straight into a dark tunnel with a set of train tracks. White tiles all around the walls.
I don't like this, Fran.
Well, let's go out into the hallway and see if we can get out of here.
Dewey,
No.
it's not what you see out your window.
Well, what do I see out my window?
Out your window, you see the branches that seem to be rattling against the glass. But otherwise, it's like you're looking into a dense fog. Like nothing.
I don't like this at all.
Could you roll a spot hidden check, please?
Oh, I will use advantage.
You look at this mist, and it sort of swirls in some places as if something is moving within it. And it's not human. And it feels the sort of the size of the movement is huge.
Okay. Fran, do you see this?
I see the tunnel, the train tunnel, the underground.
No, there's a fog.
Can I go over to Dewey's window and see what I see?
Yeah. No, you see, if you go over to Dewey's window, you see the fog.
And do you see that thing?
You do see something moving.
Maybe it's a dinosaur.
Maybe. What are we gonna pretend to be?
Jungle explorers if it's a dinosaur outside.
Okay, we're jungle explorers and there's a dinosaur outside. Are we jungle explorers scared of dinosaurs?
I think we think that it's good to avoid them because we don't want to disturb them in their natural habitat.
Okay. Jungle explorer, don't want to disturb dinosaur. Jungle explorer, don't want to disturb dinosaur.
Outside, you hear a creak on the floorboard.
I jump and run.
Where?
Wait.
Where?
Wait, I thought you meant the other around the room.
In the corridor.
Oh.
Just in a really small circle chasing your tail.
You didn't say we were human jungle explorers. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh no. Fran, did you hear that?
Can I turn around and look at the door? Is there anybody in the hallway?
The man stands in the hallway looking at you. Smart jacket. Sort of almost like black tails, bow tie, holding a glass tray with very small glasses balanced on them.
Hello?
Hello, children.
Children?
What you are?
But who are you?
Where are we?
He sort of looks at you. You're home.
No,
It's
I'm
me.
not.
What on earth are you covered in? And you sort of look down, and you are still like covered in the debris. He's like, your appropriate clothing is in the wardrobe, but your mother is downstairs entertaining.
We don't have the same mom.
No, we definitely don't.
And he looks at you. I need to continue serving drinks.
Okay, but what's your name, sir?
And he smiles. It's me, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey sounds like a killer's name.
Definitely not a jungle explorer.
And he looks at you confused. Your father just got back.
What's my father's name?
And he looks very confused. You know you call him father.
Yeah, but what do you call him?
Sir.
What do the guests call him?
And he squints at you very confused. He's like, are you feeling well?
No.
If you would prefer it, Master Jonathan, I can fetch something to help you sleep.
My name is not Jonathan. It's Dewey.
Strange name.
You're a strange name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He looks, is it? Well, Master Jonathan, Miss Elizabeth, if you feel you are ready to come downstairs at any point, I will have breakfast in the kitchen for you.
Okay, bye. Go away.
And he slowly closes the door and makes his way down the stairs. You can hear the rattle of the glasses.
Fran, your name's not Elizabeth. It's Fran.
And we definitely don't have the same mom and dad.
No. That'd be awkward. I mean, yeah, that'd be awkward. Because you're my best friend.
What if we tried to get out the window that looks like it goes back into the underground?
Okay.
I don't really know if I want to go back there, but I think our friends are there.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the underground's better than this place. My hands are very damp. I'm saying that as Sam and as Dewey.
I'm gonna go try the other window.
Yeah. Can you roll a locksmith for me, please?
No. But sure. Yep, this is not possible.
When she inevitably fails, can I just smash it?
Roll me a strength.
Am I strong? Oh, can I use advantage?
Yes, you may.
Oh, well, I'm glad it didn't matter. But I got yes.
You smash this window, and it's almost like it falls down. And you feel this gush of air, almost wanting to suck you out at one point. This whoosh, and it is freezing. And you can hear the bombs looking at this tunnel.
Fran, let's go. Fran, can we go, please?
Did I look behind us first and see if it sounds like the guy's coming back?
He doesn't
Like if he heard
back.
it. Okay. I'm gonna try and climb out the window.
Both make a climb check for me, please.
Oh, this is something I can kind of do, I think. Maybe. I'm gonna use advantage.
Advantage, yeah. Me too. Oh, I will spend my 15 bucks to make that a,
You both succeed as you manage to climb out of this window, sort of helping each other. And you look down and you manage to lower yourselves down and you drop onto this cobbled railway line again. Back where you were, you see the music box closed now, the center of the tracks. You also see to the left of you, as if you were looking back towards the window is gone. The building is gone. There is, however, this strange fog and you see a woman in a veil. You see 2 men and another woman, all holding hands, sat around a dining table on the tracks, holding hands.
Laura and I are on the same wavelength.
Do they notice us? Do they seem to notice us?
They don't seem to at the moment. But the woman in the veil, again, you hear that.
Oh, hell no. I grab Fred and we are running.
You see her mouth start to open and her eyes sort of snap, and they are just white as you turn and you sprint away down this tunnel. Meg.
What?
You are being dragged.
Usually.
Mm-hmm. Jason is right next to you, just like, what is happening? Why is your dad dragging us like this? And your dad is barely paying any attention to either of you as he is just dragging the both of you, and you can just hear him saying over and over again, "We've got to get out, got to get out, got to get out, got to get out, got to get out." We need to get out. What the hell was that? As he starts sprinting, he's dragging you down here.
Mm-hmm. If I turn over my shoulder, can I see anything behind us? She asked.
Roll a
stupidly.
That, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hard success.
Jason is sort of half carrying Rex as you are being dragged, and you look back for a split moment, and as you do, you think you see something in the darkness as it's more that something looks back at you as you see eyes blink in the dark, and another set, and another set, and another set, until almost the tunnel is full of these eyes, blinking all different times, looking at you. You can see on your dad's face this pale all the color is gone, and he is freaking out, he is running. And again, you almost sort of all fall over as he manages to hold you up as something else hits, and you can see that the tunnel starts to shake. And you can hear no, and he's like, okay, we need to move faster. I need you both to move your legs as fast as you can, as he's he's almost scooping you up, but he's got Jason and he can't carry Jason as he's running as you go. And you hear and it's coming from the walls, it's coming from the ceiling, and you're not too sure what it is, but the darkness seems to form itself. It seems to start forming these many arms, these long fingers, but more that go into points than anything else. And it's like a clacking again, but it's a different kind. As whatever this is, you can see, you get the distinct sensation that it's crawling up the wall.
Can I shine I'm being carried, so can I shine my torch at something?
You shine the torch back down the tunnel, and this twisted face looks back at you. And as you do shine the torch on it, it sort of freezes for a moment and then smiles. And it starts reaching down this tunnel, almost as if you've given it a location, as it starts to run and starts to canter towards you as this creature. And you suddenly realize This creature's huge. There are many eyes, but this is one large form. As you feel this tunnel starting to collapse and starting to move behind you, you can hear your dad sort of like shit as he's starting to run faster and faster. He's like, do not look back, as he is running as you go. What would you like to do?
Hold on.
Roll me a strength check, please, to hold on
Fuck
to your dad.
I will use advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
You cling tightly to your dad. You sort of like wrap your arms around him. You can feel him running. You can hear his breathing. You can feel that sweat sort of pouring down his face. As he looks back briefly, you see sort of Rex is barking wildly, and Jason sort of trips and falls, and your dad is trying to heave him up and drag him on. It's like, keep running, and he sort of starts going. When this creature, you hear this bizarre screech as it looks like it leaves whatever it was holding on to and leaps. I want you to make a dexterity check or a dodge as it crashes into you, Jason, and your father.
I'm using advantage?
Yes, you can.
Never mind.
You run. As this thing hits you, you feel a force hit you, but it's not just heaviness. You feel this bizarre sort of feeling come over you. Your ears fill with screams. Your ears fill with hundreds, thousands of voices. As you are you manage to roll out the way as your father sees it coming and throws you aside, effectively into Jason, and you see your dad go flying backwards down the down this tunnel, sort of scratching all the way through this grit. And he's going, run! And he's getting up himself, trying to get back to the both of you.
I'm not moving till Dad gets to me.
He's running towards you, and he grabs your hand, and he's telling, like, Jason, you can see is very wide-eyed. This dog is barking like crazy, like it's out of Jason's hand. Jason is trying to pull on it. He's like, this bloody dog, as he drags it, and you start running again, and you can hear it, that as it's moving across the tiles. You see those white tiles. There's a flash for a moment where the deja vu here is real. You can feel it. It's like you're hearing the same sounds. You're getting the same feeling, the feeling of dread, the feeling of fear, as this movement sort of stops. He's going, Meg, run. And he's right behind you. He's got a hand on your shoulder as he's sort of pushing you forwards. Jason is in front, trying to drag Rex along as this creature, you see it, these long nails dig into the side of these white tiles and just drag and shatter these tiles as it goes. Sort of, you see them just falling, you see the roof shaking, and everything starts to shudder and fall. I need another dex check to try and avoid as more stuff comes down.
Okay. Oh yeah, another advantage. Oh!
You are rolling well today. You manage, I'll say on an extreme especially, you see, it's almost like a moment you have a premonition, like you think that you can see in your head, split second before, of this huge chunk of ceiling that comes down, and you see it coming just over the top of you and your father, and you manage to grab him and throw yourselves both to the side as this ceiling starts to cave in and starts blocking off the tunnel. As you both dive forward, you can feel the scrapes and the bruises as like you hit the ground again. You feel an arm, your dad's arm, go around your waist as he's pushing himself back up and running. Jason sort of is stopped and is pointing back as you see this tunnel start to collapse onto whatever this thing is. You hear it screeching and crying out, and as the ceiling drops and effectively looks like it crushes it. caving in, these huge boulders, so that it is blocked. There's no way you could run back in the direction of the creature. It's blocked. And as much as there are 1 or 2 more shudders, it seems to halt. And you just hear the bombs go off overhead. And you sort of lay there. You're effectively on your dad's chest as he's there like that, like holding on to you. And you can see him reaching around and he's grabbing like the dog and Jason are pulling both to him. He's like, okay. We're gonna go now. We're gonna move quick, okay?
I did it.
You did what?
Nothing.
Either way, I don't like it. Here we're going. He said, Jason, get up. And he sort of dragged Jason. You see, he basically grabs the back of Jason's trousers and hits him up onto his own feet as Jason is clinging to this dog for dear life. And he's like, I'm gonna move now. Okay. And you can see how he's just sweating buckets. You think your dad was probably running a lot sooner before he ran into the both of you, as you will start heading off back down the tunnel. And there is a moment of silence where you think you can hear the bombs slowly start to stop. And you see Jason look up. Even Rex is sort of silenced. And your dad is just, thank God. Come on, let's go see what's going on so we can go home. He starts to walk. And I need you to make a spot hidden check for me, please, Meg.
Fuck you, I'm using advantage.
I'm gonna get you to use a disadvantage.
Well, fuck you. Okay, so just a straight roll.
Straight roll, and we'll get rid of one of my disadvantages.
Regular success.
Okay. You, on a regular success, you're walking for a moment, and Jason is not laughing, but he's like, ha, ha, like it's like a really awkward, nervous laugh. And you can hear him he's facing the same way as you, but he's sort of talking to you, your dad. He's like, we need to find the others. I don't know where the others are. They were in there. Oh my God, they were in there. It's like sort of realizing the tunnel's blocked off. And Jane, you sit at the entrance of the tunnel. You have someone tapping you on the shoulder, like, Miss Crowley, are you okay, dear? As you, that little old lady with the books sort of is tapping on you, trying to hold you up, and you feel like you've been tensing your muscles for so long as you sort of sit in this ball. Where's your parents?
Are there any clowns here?
No, they normally come in the summer, and I don't think they're going to come this time of year, darling.
Sorry, I don't know how I got here. Have you seen my friends?
No, you were just playing on the tracks, and you sort of hear your mother's like, oh my God, Jane, what did we say? And she sort of comes like bolting down the side of this platform.
And I run to my mom and like hug her really tight.
Yeah, she sort of falls down onto her knees and sort of grabs you and wraps her arms around you. And Dewey and Fran, you see a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can see people loading crates back at the main platform. And you see Jane hugging her mum on the main platform.
Oh, we made it back.
Oh, there's Jane. There's people. There's Jane.
Fran's gonna call out to Jane.
Jane, you can hear her.
After I let go of my mom, I'm like, hi, Fran.
Oh, I'm here too.
Oh, I didn't see Dewey. Hi, Dewey.
Where? She always liked you better.
Have you seen my brother and Meg and Rex?
No, but I was just in a tunnel and there were clowns and there was popcorn and I had some popcorn and you were there but you were
No, we weren't.
dummies and there was a man with bandages and scary hands.
We were in a house with the guy named Joffrey who
Jeffrey.
looked too fancy.
Oh, he was really fancy, and there was a woman with creepy.
I didn't see any women with creepy things, but did you all see a man with bandages or clowns?
No.
I don't like clowns
How
anymore.
did we get separated? Why would you ever like clowns?
Well, they come in the summer and they're kind of funny, and they
They're creepy.
and they make balloon animals.
Never trust somebody who makes balloon animals.
Okay.
But
It's nice at first. I ate some popcorn.
I mean, that's great, but I wish I knew where Jason was.
And back with Jason, Meg, Rex, and Meg's dad. That spot hidden check, Meg, you sort of look back briefly for a moment because your dad is being quiet. First of all, you heard him trying to catch his breath, that ragged breathing. And as you do, you turn back and you look at him, and his eyes are wide with shock as these long black tendrils are starting to go around his arms and legs.
I go back.
You start running back, and he's looking at himself as you do, and you can see these things sort of engulfing his arms, his chest, as he sort of like tightens up, but you can see him sort of try and gulp for air. He's like, and he sort of throws back his head. It's sort of like, Meg, as his arms start being pulled closer and closer.
I start trying to hit the things with my torch.
Yeah, you're hitting this stuff with the torch as you sort of crash into it. It's almost like it sinks into this stuff and pulls back this tar-like material. And his eyes get wider and wider, and he's like, and Jason turns around and starts to scream as there's a moment where your dad flies backwards, sort of sliding back across this gravel. And he is sort of scrabbling with his hands. He is trying to dig his feet in. He's not got much movement with his arms and his hands, and he's sort of like, Meg, run, Meg. And he's
no, I grab him. I try to grab him.
You're holding onto his hand, and you can feel it slipping, mainly because of the tar, not because of your grip or his grip. He is holding onto you.
No, that's not fair. I saved you.
Is that as much as you feel him yelling at you to go, he's holding on to you tight. And you're holding on to him. You're sort of sat on the ground, and Jason is running over to you and holding on to you to try and hold on to him. And he's just like, Rex is barking. Rex has run back towards the light, barking over and over. Somewhere, Fran, Dewey, Jane, you can hear this dog barking as your dad clings onto you. He's like, Meg, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And you can see this thick tar starting to wrap itself around his face. And he sort of, you can see him as he's really trying to hold himself back, and tears sort of enter his eyes as it sort of wells up. And he's like, oh my, and he starts to creak and move and sort of almost get as if he's being tied up tightly with rope. And there's a moment where he looks at you, he's like, run, sweetie, and he just gets flung back towards this darkness and disappears. somewhere in the dark, you see these eyes blink back. And you hear a...
She screams at it.
You feel Jason's two arms immediately wrap around you, like both your chest, as you are throwing, you're sort of screaming at this darkness. You can't really hear him. You can hear him yelling your name as he's dragging you back down this tunnel towards the light, and your screams are sort of what is filling and echoing this tunnel. Jane, Fran, and Dewey, this is all you hear. A dog barking as well. And Meg, you sort of look into the darkness, and you just hear one last, "Run, sweetie." And that's where we'll leave Call of Cthulhu this week. Okay. Everyone okay? Good. Okay. I think we evoked some emotions today. Otherwise, please check out all the closing links that are coming up in chat now. That includes the Discord. Alison's come back. She just scared the bejesus out of me. Discord, where there is a channel where you can go and scream into the abyss about what is going on and stuff like that. Also, if you've missed anything, please check out on YouTube. There is a playlist for this game. Also, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Hero Forge. If you sign up to their mailing list, you get there's certain rewards for their new Kickstarter that's coming out. Go check it out. It looks really awesome. Also, Mayhem Press, their Dark Matter book, which has been 2 years in the making, is now hardback. And it's if you like space and D&D, you smush them together, and it's a wonderful thing. Last but certainly not least, the Deck of Many, with the Deck of Many Things, with the moving spell cards, and also Humblewood, which is, as I said, the opposite of this, is rather adorable and lots of cute, fluffy animals in it. So please go check that out. Otherwise, keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you later. Bye.